Nintendo is widely known as a company nowadays that marches to the beat of their own drum, but this definitely wasn't always the case. As Nintendo came along within the video game industry, they were kind of more of the standard bearer rather than the exception as to what video game companies were doing. Things started to get a little bit murky during the N64 era. They went with cartridges instead of discs, but that was just a decision that they had made, and they banked on the wrong physical format for the medium going forward. Of course, the GameCube had a handle, had some mini discs. That was kind of weird and outside of the box, but all in all, it really wasn't that much different than what the other systems were doing at that time, especially when you look at things like graphics, because the GameCube was a very capable system. But along the way came Mr. Iwata and his rise to prominence, and Mr. Iwata was a different cat. He was a cat that thought outside the box. He wanted to do things completely different and turn the video game industry upside down. Now, of course, the Nintendo Wii sort of put that into motion for many people, but really you have to give credit to the Nintendo DS as the one that really kicked things off as far as this new mantra of Nintendo in the future. The Nintendo DS was a bizarre system that had 2 screens, a touch screen, had built-in Wi-Fi, and it was supposed to be a complementary system to the Game Boy lineup, not a replacement, which it ended up being a replacement for. So I have many fond memories of the Nintendo DS, and I just want to share them in today's video. I just got my hands on a complete in-box Nintendo DS, the original one from my buddy. So I want to tell you guys all about this system, how it sort of changed, how everything was perceived with Nintendo and handhelds, and why this changed everything for Nintendo as far as sparking innovation within the company once again. All right, so here it is, the original Nintendo DS. Now, of course, we got many variants of this system. We got different colorways. We got the DSi, we got the DS Lite. A lot of fun stuff went on with this system, but this is the original one. This is the one that sold me on the system. As you can see here, comes with the Metroid Prime Hunters demo, first hunt, which was honestly a great way to show this off. We don't get demos anymore with systems to really show the capabilities, which I don't know, that's kind of a shame. But just looking at this, like, when you look at it, you're like, what is this? Like, how does this work? I remember having to leave college to go find and pick up my Nintendo DS because of this Metroid Prime Hunters first hunt demo. Taking a look at the back of the system here, we could see some of the titles that were coming soon to the system. Of course, Metroid Prime Hunters, Super Mario 64 DS, which I picked up, Madden NFL, which I picked up. I didn't get Rayman, Ridge Racer, of course. You got to get Ridge Racer. The Herbs and Spider-Man 2. These 2 games weren't all that great. The Nintendo DS is a high-powered handheld video game system and a sleek and portable folding design, loaded with innovative features to give you the ultimate gaming experience. Then, of course, it goes on to mention all the stuff that you get, all the different things you could do, the touch screen, all that sort of stuff. The fact that you could, of course, play your Game Boy Advance games on the system, which a lot of people did. If their top screen, for whatever reason, ended up breaking, they would break off the top screen and then use it as a Game Boy Advance because it was a good way to play some Game Boy Advance games. But for me, it was just, I wanted these new games, man. I wanted this new system. I picked this up off of my buddy OK Chief. I don't know if he still makes videos anymore. I'll put a link to his channel in the description box. Of course, you got to have the little wristband. I don't think I ever used the wristband, but hey, it's nice and in plastic. But yeah, like, I own a bunch of Nintendo DS systems. Like, it's not like I have a struggle to get my hands on one, but I wanted this one. I wanted this one, and Chief had it up for sale on his, damn man, this thing is crispy. He had it up for sale on his Facebook, and he was like, I'm bringing this to some conventions. He's big in the Texas convention scene. Register your Nintendo DS for a chance to win. We've got all the documentation here, including, I see it already, the original way that this game came with Metroid Prime Hunters, which is cool because I have actually lost this cardboard piece. I no longer own this cardboard piece. I do still have the game. Was there a, oh, it folds open like that. Oh man, look at this. Like, how cool. This literally just came with the system for free, with the instruction booklet for everything, how to use it, how to play your new Nintendo DS. This is very, very nostalgic for me. This is very nostalgic for me because this was one of the first systems that I bought, really come to think of it, as an adult. Like, this may have actually been the first system I ever bought with my own money, or at least all of it being my own money. No help from my parents is what I'm trying to say here. We can register we can subscribe to get a free Nintendo Power. I miss Nintendo Power. Bro, look at that DS shirt. That thing is drippy. Like, I would still wear that. I wonder how much those shirts go for. I miss Nintendo Power though. Here's the behemoth booklet to tell you all about the system. Of course, it had Wi-Fi built into it, which was very unique, you know, for Nintendo. They weren't really known for any sort of online capabilities. I believe this system is a used system. It just came with everything that it did originally. I wonder if it has a battery. Yeah, it's used. You can tell by that. I wonder if it has a battery charge though. I hope it does. We got the screen protectors there. Let's see. Oh, it does have a battery charge. Look at this thing, man. So many memories. So you had your clock. Oh, the battery's kind of low. It's okay. I've got a charger. This was evidently Shen 509's system. But we have the clock. We have the ability to insert a Game Boy Advance cartridge, which you would use in the slot right here. That was your Game Boy Advance slot, which was removed on other iterations of the system, such as the DSi, and I think the DS Lite too. I could be wrong on that. You could do download play. Some games had the ability to essentially send a demo over to your friends, and you could check out a game via a demonstration. And PictoChat. I remember Rob and I were at a restaurant, and we were using PictoChat because we went out with his parents. Where's the stylus on this thing? There it is. We went out with his parents, and we were just drawing like phalluses and weenies and stuff. But the touchscreen was accurate, man. The touchscreen was super accurate. Like, look at that. That's a fine looking phallus right there. And then you would just send it to your friends. Like, it was so different than anything else was really at the time, but that's what made it amazing. That's what made it beautiful. That's what made the DS so cool. Like, this was Iwata, I feel, at his peak. Like, just at his absolute peak for what he wanted to do with Nintendo and how he wanted Nintendo to go into a company. Like, we sent this to someone. If there's anyone out there, we could spam it too. Wieners, wieners, wieners. It's actually a pair of scissors, YouTube. Don't get mad. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in because I want to check out the Metroid Prime Hunters demo to show you what sold me on this system as a kid. All right, so we've got our copy of Metroid Prime Hunters in the Nintendo DS. I actually forgot that you have to turn off the system. Like, you can't just put in a cartridge whenever you want into the system. You actually have to turn it off in order for it to recognize the cartridge. But this is what sold me on it right here. Like, looking at this scene, you know, okay, we got two different perspectives of Samus. Like, I guess that's kind of cool, right? You know, whatever, no big deal. You know, the video quality, it's not great, but oh, there it was. The stand-up, where she was crouched and went to stand up. When I saw my buddy Rob, who got one of these, and he showed me that video, I was like, oh my God. And the next day I found one in a Sam Goody. That was about 30 minutes from where I lived, and I drove out there. I skipped college that day, and I went and got my DS, copy of Mario 64, and I just sat there in Blue Hall, which is what it was called. You could smoke cigarettes in there, and they had food, and they had a cruising arcade cabinet in there as well. But man, this system, I would say this system was one of my favorites ever, dude. Like, I still have a pretty decent library of DS games. You know, you had like Resident Evil on here, Resident Evil Deadly Silence, which is one of my favorite versions of the original Resident Evil because it added in stuff. You know, Metroid Prime Hunters, which would cripple your hands. I don't know how I played this for so damn long back in the day because my hands are already hurting from having to press the L trigger here. But there were so many cool games. You know, Hotel Dusk was an awesome game. Just random stuff. And because of the install base of this system, developers could really try to do a lot of very different and unique experiences on the system. People wanted to see what Nintendo had done, and when they saw what Nintendo had done with their DS, that it was a successful system, they you know, got on board with it. How do I open this door? Do I need a rocket? Morph ball? What am I doing here? Come on, let me in. Ah, man, I love this game so much. I played the online multiplayer of this game for literally hours. Like, when I say hours, I mean thousands of hours. I was in a clan on GameFAQs and stuff. We were called the Chozo Guard. The multiplayer in this game is freaking awesome, though. Ah, I think I gotta kill everyone to open the door. There we go. But yeah, I mean, it was just such a great system, you know, and it really, maybe it didn't save Nintendo per se, but it definitely helped them, because after the DS, then of course we got the Nintendo Wii, and then, you know, things were back to Nintendo mania. Because at this time, you know, you're coming off the GameCube, you're coming off the Game Boy Advance SP, you know, solid systems, very good systems. The handheld stuff was never a problem. But just the innovation, I was like, well, where do you go with the Game Boy Advance? Where do you go from next? And we went with this. And I love this system. And I have so many fond memories of it. You know, I'm glad I still have a lot of my collection. You know, just a really fun system. And the ability to play your Game Boy Advance games was just awesome with this thing. You had an instant library. Yes, there was times when the system first came out that developers didn't know what to do, but you know, when you're playing games and you have a map constantly on the screen, or you have something that makes it unique with the touch screen or the top screen, having two screens like really helped out a lot in a lot of different types of games. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little nostalgic trip for me with the Nintendo DS. Yeah, I'm super happy to have this in my collection of box systems. I'm trying to do something with all of them. We'll see when that comes to fruition. Huge shout outs to OK Chief for the bro price on this system. I had no idea how much it was going to be, and his price was definitely a lot less that he came with, and I was like, sold. Let me know your thoughts and, you know, memories of the Nintendo DS in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll put it right there on the screen. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.